Hello everyone, welcome to the lesson on factoring day 1. So we're going to go through different types of factoring as we progress. So when you have two terms and you have to factor, you're looking to factor those terms, one of two things can happen. Either you need to factor out the greatest common factor, or it's going to be the difference of two perfect squares. The first thing we're going to look at is, what if the factoring is the greatest common factor? So what do? Well, if you look at 8x plus 10, the greatest common factor there is 2. Come on, 2. When I divide 2 out of those terms, I'm left with 4x plus 5. Next term, 6h squared minus 8h. Well, between the 6 and the 8, the greatest common term is 2. And between h squared and h, the greatest common factor is h. So now I have to divide 2h out of both terms. That leaves the first term with 3h minus 2. Okay? Minus 4. Minus 4. Okay. Look at number 3. The greatest common factor there would be x squared. You can't take out an x cubed, all right? So, because you can't factor an x cubed out of the second term, which is 5x squared. So it's x squared. When you divide an x squared out, you have x minus 5. That's what you're left with. And this fourth one, the greatest common factor among all those three terms is x. When you factor that, you're left with x squared plus 8x minus 11. So that's factoring the greatest common factors. Go to the next page. The other thing that can happen when you have two terms is it's the difference of two perfect squares. Okay? So this is going to be two parentheses, and all of these terms are perfect squares. The square root of a squared is a. The square root of b squared is b. And one parentheses gets a plus sign, the other one gets a minus. That's how you factor that. So you have to know your perfect squares. R squared minus 1. Each parenthesis gets an R. The square root of 1 is 1. And you get a plus and a minus. If you look at these, and let's do the last one. X and an x. Square root of 9 is 3. And you get a plus and a minus. Alright, I don't know why that's not working. Let's give this a shot. There we go. Okay. A plus b, a minus b. R plus 1, r minus 1. X plus 3, x minus 3. Those are what we refer to as conjugates. Okay? They're the same factors, opposite signs in each parentheses. Okay? Go to the next page now. The last page. So now we've got trinomials. Square root of c squared is going to be c. The plus 12 here tells you the signs are the same. That one tells you the signs are both plus. So now we're looking for two things that multiply to 12 and add to 7. And 12 is 3 times 4. And 3 plus 4 is 7. Y, the square root of y squared is y. This tells us the signs are the same. This tells us they're both minus. So now we need to multiply to 10 and add to negative 11. So they're both negative. There's only a couple of ways to get to 10. 5 times 2. Negative 5 and negative 2 don't add to negative 11. But negative 10 and negative 1 add to negative 11, and they multiply to a positive 10. Let's take a look at the last one. Square root of x squared is x. This tells you the sign is different. That tells you the larger of the two numbers will be the negative sign. Well, 2 is a prime number. There's only one way to get to 2. 2 times 1. So, negative 2, positive 1. Negative times positive is a negative. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. And there we go. This all hopefully was a review for everyone. So this has been the lesson on factoring day 1, and this lesson was brought directly to you from my dining room table.